How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Shadowverse Evolve video here on Red Zone Rogue. My name is Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue, and I'm one of the official Shadowverse Evolve English Edition ambassadors. And today, we're going to be going over one of my favorite new or newly upgraded decks from Booster Pack 10, Gods of the Arcana, Ghost Abyss. We have the new Serene Masquerade Ghost advanced card, and he's very, very cool. I'm really eager to talk about this deck. Abyss is among my favorite classes in the game, and I think this deck is really, really fun. Is it the best Abyss deck in the format currently? No, that is still Vampires, and I did do a full video on that already if you want to check that one out, and it really hasn't changed much since then. So if you want to play like the best Abyss deck, you can go play this one here. And then also other best decks in the format, we also have Dirt Rune, which we've also done a video on already, as well as Puppet, Forest, and Sword too. Though Sword does get a bunch of upgrades, and we're going to make a video on the new Sword deck very, very shortly. In fact, let me know which craft you'd like to see next for a deck tech, because we're going to be doing a lot of really interesting and fun builds. We do have the new Sword deck, which is, we're calling it Merchant Sword, but we also have Academic Runecraft. We have the return of Fabled, but this time Fabled Forest Craft. We have Armed Dragon Craft using Levitine Dragon, a fan favorite, as well as Amulet Haven. Let me know in the comments down below which one you would like to see next. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about Ghost Abyss. Ooh, spooky. Alright, so here is our deck with our beautiful Cerberus leader, one of my absolute favorites. We'll go ahead and set her aside. We have our suite of tokens, which are very, very important. We'll talk about those in just a minute. We have our Evo points, also my favorite. Got our girl Mono here. With the Mono sleeves, you have to coordinate. You gotta coordinate. And then we have our Evo deck, which is where you put the new advanced cards. The advanced cards go in the Evo deck, not the main deck, so keep that in mind. And so we'll separate our Evo deck with our beautiful Amy sleeves, and then we have our main deck. Once again, you gotta theme the deck and the sleeves. So we'll talk about the Evo deck as we get to the cards that care about them, but just note, we're running a lot of Masquerade Ghosts. Half of our Evo deck are either the original Evo Masquerade Ghost or the new advanced version. And then we have some other cards, including a starter deck all-star, which is great. So we'll set this aside. Here are the tokens. You might be wondering, yo, what are these beautiful tokens? Well, these are official Shadowverse Evolve blank tokens that come in the Dragon starter deck, and you can get artists. You can draw them yourself if you're a fantastic artist, even if you're not. And I got a great artist friend of mine who works in the industry. Her name is Honshu, and she drew these for me a little while ago, but I think they're a really good stand-in for the Gargantuan Ghost. So you're going to need your regular Ghost, which is a 1-drop 1/1 with Storm, and at the end of your turn, you have to banish it. Really important to get a bunch of these ghosts. Some will go in our EX, some will come directly into play, but this is going to be a big part of our strategy, killing them with ghosts. Pumping the ghosts, killing them with the ghosts, that's really important. And then we also have the Gargantuan Ghost, which is kind of like the opposite of the smaller, more aggressive ghost. Is a more defensive ghost. It's a 1-drop 3/3 ghost. It has Ward, and it says at the start of your main phase, banish this card. So this one dies at the end of your turn. This one dies at the beginning of your turn. So it sticks around and protects you. They attack, they protect. So that's what we're rocking with the Ghost tokens. And I would recommend getting a handful of each. For the regular Ghost tokens, 6 or more minimum. And then for the Gargantuan, I just like a nice little 5, just in case. And we'll talk about why. So let's go ahead and set these off to the side here, right under Dreitzen there. And let's start talking about the deck. And we're going to start talking about the deck with one of the most important cards, our big boss monster, the Masquerade Ghost. This is all the way back from Booster Pack 3. Masquerade Ghost is a 4-drop 4/4. Okay, stats. Evos for 1, which you almost always want to do. And it says whenever a ghost is put onto your field, you give it +1 attack. So now all of our ghosts are attacking for 2, which is really, really good. So that's a good baseline. However, we get from the Evo version, and like I said, you almost always want to Evo, it becomes a 5/5, and then whenever a ghost is put onto your field, you give it +1 attack. Whenever a ghost leaves your field, you summon a gargantuan ghost. So basically the strategy is to make a bunch of ghosts, and then they turn into the defensive ghosts, which is really good. And then also, last words, put this card into its owner's EX area. And by this card, it will be your unevolved version, because evolved cards can't go into the EX area. So your evolved card will go back into your evolved deck face up, and then the regular version goes into your EX area. And that's super, super important for the Sincere Masquerade Ghost. And we'll talk about that when we get to the card that summons this. We have a special card that summons the Sincere Masquerade Ghost. But just know that Masquerade Ghost, huge part of our deck. It's like literally like the core strategy in the deck. So, yep, Masquerade Ghost, huge part. We'll come back to that later because we have more cards. We also have another legendary that I haven't used before that I'm really happy to use. We have Arcus, Spirited Manager, a 2-drop 5/5, crazy stats, but he cannot attack. However, it says at the start of our main phase, we Necro charge 10 and summon a ghost. So we just get a free ghost every turn if we have at least 10 cards in our bin. And then also we can use his effect, bury another follower, choose one of the following, activate only once per turn. We can either draw a card, summon 2 ghosts, or bury the top 2 cards of our deck. And we can do that even without the Necro charge. So we can use this to fuel our Necro charge if we need to. We can use this to sack the ghost that we get to get 2 ghosts, which is great, or we can draw a card. You can only do it once per turn, but still really good. It's kind of a nice, efficient engine for the deck. Kind of does everything we need, and it's only a 2-drop. Great turn 2 play. Really hard to kill. Next up, we have Playful Necromancer. This is a starter deck card, and it's a really simple card. It's one of the ones that enables us to like win the game on really bursty turns, because she just summons a bunch of ghosts. She's a 3-drop 3/3, evos for 1. Seems pretty simple. However, when you evolve her, she makes 3 ghosts. She becomes a 4/4, and she makes 3 ghosts. So those ghosts can immediately attack your opponent in the face for damage. You can trade off for opposing followers, or best case scenario, if you already have a Masquerade Ghost, they're all going to hit for 2, so it's going to hit for 6 instead. Or we have other ways to pump them up as well, so we can even make it so they all hit for 3, which is going to be 9. So we'll talk about all that kind of stuff as we go, but really good, aggressive card. You can play it early, get that Evo and kind of get some board advantage, or you can just go face. All right, so now we have a new card, Spirit Curator, a 2-drop 2/3, pretty good stats. Fanfare, choose 1, put a ghost into your EX area. Really important for some other cards, ghosts in our EX area. Or if there's a follower with ghost in its EX area, see? Look at the top 3 cards of our deck, and we can reveal any Abyss card from among them, add it to our hand, put the rest on the bottom. So let's just look at the top 3, pick any Abyss card. Spoilers, every card in this deck is an Abyss card. So we just get a top 3, pick a card, which is great. Or we get to put a ghost in our EX area, which is also good for saving it for later to do really nice explosive storm turns. So yeah, this card's a good, nice little new engine for the deck. We have another new card here with Ghost Maid, 2-drop 2/2, slightly less good stats. She also evolves her 1, and on Fanfare, she just summons a ghost, which is great. So you get a little bit of value right there off the gates. And then we run 1 of her in the Evo deck. She becomes a 3/3. On Evolve, put a ghost token into your EX area, bury the top card of your deck. Once again, putting in the EX area is really good for stuff like our Spirit Curator. And then also putting the top card of our deck into our bin, burying it, good for the Necro charge. So great. We're just running 1 copy of her because we have other things taking up the deck here. And we're only running 2 of her main deck anyway. Next up, we have a super efficient card with Zealot of Lust. It's a 2-drop 3/2, and then you can just give our leader -1 health, select an enemy follower on the field, and deal it 1 damage. And we can do this twice per turn. So it's really good at picking off low health followers, and there's a lot of that going around. And I mentioned earlier that we have vampires, there's puppets, there's sword. These decks all have little dudes, and this is really good at killing little dudes. So we're running 3 of them in the main. Great little card. Similarly, we have another Abyss staple, Hellblaze Demon, 2-drop 2/3, Fanfare, discard a card, put the top card of your deck into your EX area. If it's a follower, give it +1/+1. Now, this actually really synergizes with Sincere Soul, and we'll talk about that just in a moment. But just note that putting one of our Masquerade Ghost boss monster guys, so we'll pull out the Masquerade Ghost. Putting this into our EX area, either from it dying from its own Evo, either from it dying from its own Evo, or putting it into the EX from Hellblaze Demon is really, really important. We'll kind of keep him out, just because. So yeah, Hellblaze Demon, very good. Also, discarding a card helps us feel the Necro charge as well. She's really good. All right, now we have Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a 2-drop 2/3. Whenever any follower on our field evolves, summon 2 ghosts. Really, really strong. And you can also use her effect, select a ghost on our field and give it Bane, so we can actually use our ghosts to kill some of their big stuff, which is really, really good. It's a really solid card, and I'm glad it finally has a decent deck here. And I do think this deck is pretty solid, so running 3 Ghost Riders. Next up, we have Peppy. We have Baccaris Peppy Ghosty. He's a 1-drop 1/1. He evolves for 1, and then on Fanfare, if we have a Gargantuan Ghost, we draw a card, and then he also counts as a ghost for cards that care about ghosts, which is good. So we are running 3 here, and then we also have 2 in the Evo. In the Evo, it's a 2/2, and then last words, it goes back into the EX area, which is pretty solid, and it counts as a ghost in the EX area. So it actually works really well with the Curator. Yeah, it works well with the Curator because it counts as a ghost. If it's in our EX area, we can do that effect. Yeah, really solid stuff. As you can see, the deck synergizes pretty well. All right, now we're gonna talk about this. This is the other really, really big key card of the deck. The big key cards you wanna see, Sincere Soul and Masquerade Ghost. Now, Sincere Soul helps with that, but we'll talk about it. So it's a 4-drop. Its regular effect says, search your deck for a Masquerade Ghost, summon it, shuffle, and give it ward. So this just gets us a Masquerade Ghost, puts it into play, gives it ward. Pretty solid. Or we can banish this from our cemetery. So after we've played it, or if we've discarded it from a various effect, if there's a Masquerade Ghost in our EX area, you may summon a Sincere Masquerade Ghost from the Evolve deck. So this needs to be in our cemetery. We can pay 4 and then banish this, and if we have a Masquerade Ghost in our EX area, we just get to summon our big boss finisher, the Sincere Masquerade Ghost. And so a big part of this deck is getting your regular Masquerade Ghost into your EX area. And like I said, you can do that by just randomly getting lucky with Hellblaze Demon, or by its own effect of when it's evolved, when it has the last words, it dies, goes back into your EX area. So make use of this early. If they kill it off, no big deal. Then you can play your Sincere Soul and get your big boss. So this is a really, really important card in the deck. I guess I'll set this here with this. Now let's talk about what the Sincere Masquerade Ghost does. It is a 5/5 with Storm. It also has a cost of 6, but that doesn't really matter unless a card cares about the card cost. Like, banish a card that has a cost 4 or less, for example. It's a 6-drop, so it won't count. But when we summon it with the Sincere Soul, we don't have to pay this. We just summon it as part of the effect of Sincere Soul. All right, so it's a 5/5 with Storm. That's already crazy good. Also, Fanfare, you summon 2 Gargantuan Ghost tokens. Also, whenever another follower with Ghost in its name is put into our field, give it +1 and Rush. So we get 2 4/3s with Rush and Ward, which is really, really solid. And then also, last words, select a Masquerade Ghost in your EX area and put it onto the field engaged, which is also just really, really good. Just keeps getting our Masquerade Ghosts out. And so we can do a lot of damage with this. I also want to mention one thing that's pretty important. It says whenever another follower with Ghost in its name is put onto our field, give it +1 and Rush. So that counts, the ghosts. It counts Gargantuan Ghost. It counts Peppy, who just says he counts as a ghost. It counts Ghost Rider. Yes, it does count Ghost Rider. I have checked with multiple judges, including a head judge, and they said, yes, it does count with Ghost Rider. So yes, Ghost Rider will be a 3/3 with Rush. It also counts, where's the other one? Ghost Maid, and I do believe that's it. Yes. But it does count some of the other non-token ghost cards, which is really, really solid. All right, speaking of ghosts, Let's talk about some of our other like win cons and kill conditions. We have Phantom Howl. This card is cracked in this deck. It's a 3-drop. Summon 4 ghost tokens. So what this means is if you have just a regular old plain Jane Masquerade Ghost on the field, all of them will get +1 attack. So if you have Masquerade Ghost and you play Phantom Howl, that's 8 storm damage, right? That's more than a Forte for less than a Forte. It's a 2-card combo, but it's a lot of really strong burst damage. So don't underestimate. Phantom Howl is so good at killing your opponent. Obviously, we're running a full 3. We also have Last Daylight. Also insane. Once again, this is one of the ways to combo to just OTK our opponent. It's a 2-drop. It says it's just a spell. It says select an enemy fall on the field, deal it 3 damage, and give +1 attack to every follower on our field that costs 1 or less. Hey, guess what? All of our ghosts, all of them, cost 1 or less, including the ones with Storm. So you can kind of see where we're going here. You can combo this kind of stuff together, right? This is a total of 9 play points, but you know it's less if you go turn 4, Masquerade Ghost. If they don't kill it, turn 5, you can go Phantom Howl, Last Daylight. You know, kill one of their guys, and then all of our ghosts attack for 3. 3 times 4, 12 damage, Storm. Pretty good. If this is already on the field, that's another 4 damage face. You can then Evo as well for another extra point of damage. You can do a lot of damage, is what I'm getting at with this. So, yes, Last Daylight, very good card. Also, just insanely solid in this deck. And then we have a couple more cards to kind of round it out. Let's just kind of talk about our soul conversion really quick. It's really good with our ghosts. It's just a 1-drop, quick speed, select a follower on a field, destroy it, and draw 2 cards. It's really good with any of the ghosts, to be honest. So they die at the end of turn anyway. So we can like just pop this, cash in our ghost, draw 2 cards. It's really good with the gargantuan ghosts because they'll sit around on the opponent's turn, and then at the end of their turn, we can pop the soul conversion to draw the cards. It's just really good. So we're running 2 soul conversions. You can maybe play around with running 3. And then finally, we have Colossal Grudge, which is a really nice card. It's a 4-drop, and this is another card that cares about ghosts in our EX area. This card costs 3 less to play if there's a follower with Ghost in our EX area, with Ghost in its name, which does include Masquerade Ghost. It does have Ghost in its name, and it does include any of these ghosts, any of the gargantuan ghosts, or Peppy. Let's go. And yes, I know his name is like Bacchus. I like calling him Peppy. All right, he's a Peppy little ghost. So yeah, it will only cost 1. Very good. What do we get for that? Select an enemy fall on the field, deal 4 damage to it, and 2 to the leader. So once again, damage to the opposing leader. Really good at killing opposing wards, and then just 2ing them in the face. Now, while this deck isn't literally the best Abyss deck in the format right now, I think that's still Vampires. I think it's really fun, really good, and just a cool alternative so you're not playing like the same meta deck that everyone else is playing. Really fun to take to your locals. And one other thing that I want to point out here, let's kind of gather up the cards, because I want to illustrate something that's really cool about this deck. It's very, very new player and budget friendly, because it does use some starter deck cards with the Playful Necromancers, but legendary-wise, right, you just run the Masquerade Ghosts and Top Hat Boy. So Masquerade Ghosts and Arcus. These are the only legendaries in our deck. Yeah, I highly recommend giving it a shot. It's easy on the wallet, really new player friendly, and yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below about our new Ghost Abyss deck. Don't forget, Sincere Masquerade Ghost has Storm as well, and he has 5 attack. So crazy good, a lot of fun. Highly recommended just for some fun games, and yeah, it's also a good chance to play with a set 3 classic Masquerade Ghost. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below which deck or which class you'd like to see next. And thanks for watching. Okay, bye. See you next time.